Okay, so it said at the end of this assignment that we could do a video, so I hope that's okay. If it's not, let me know and I could submit a paper. Um, so this paper is discussing midwifery and bias and my personal reflection and my own bias that I bring to the table as a midwife. Um, I think one way that we have to be really careful as midwives with our clients is making sure that we're not feeding them our own thoughts and our own ideas, that the information that we are giving them is evidence based. Um, and I think that that is something that I can really work on. Having a young family and raising my own kids, I get asked a lot of questions with my clients about, like, well, what did you do to when you were in this stage, and what did you do for potty training, and what did you do for nursing? How did you give your baby a bottle? And I kind of just give them, oh, this is what I did, and it worked out great. Which for some can be really helpful, but for others, or I've realized over the years that it's not actually evidence-based information. It's just what Haley did, and it worked, but it's not going to work for everyone, and it might not be the right direction or information that they need. And as midwives, I'm really trying to make sure that I am providing that accurate information and not biased information. One thing that I personally have seen and know that I have a huge bias on, and I don't even know if I want to call it a bias, but I suppose I should call it what it is that the conversation surrounding circumcision. I think that in decades ago it was like everyone should be circumcised, and now it's leading with the more information that we have. It's a lot of, well, it's more of a cosmetic thing, and penis works just fine if it's not circumcised, which I totally believe. And I also think that there is information out there. How do I want to say this? Because I don't want to be biased in my biased video. I think that I think a lot of what I've noticed is a lot of midwives are leading out conversations of not being able to retract the foreskin, and things like infections UTIs are more likely for kiddos that are not circumcised. So although I just think the conversation is so divided, and I know that I have bias surrounding just the conversation in general. I think not one side or the other. I just think that I think it's gone so much towards don't circumcise your children that there's a lot of bias in that. And I think my bias is like, well, maybe there are reasons where people want to, religious, cultural reasons. There have been kids that have difficulty peeing. We have seen that. So I think I have not clear enough evidence information to provide my clients with a clear, here's my gift to you of here's the information I have, because I don't think that all that information in that pot is very clear, and I hope I'm making myself clear in this conversation. So that's one thing that I know as a midwife that I really need to kind of sort out in my head, my own bias on that. Another thing is, when I'm providing clients with information, is I don't want to throw off their intuitive sense. So I think that that's one thing that we can do, and that can often change our clients' opinions. They ask us a question and we respond, and they felt really strongly about it, but now they're a little bit more confused. And I think clarifying information with your clients is always best. So if they ask you a question and you're not sure what they're asking or what direction they're kind of going in, ask them, like, do you have an intuitive sense of what you want to do, or do you have a gut feeling of what you need to do? Because I never want what I provide to throw off a client that's like, I really all of a sudden feel like I need an ultrasound, and I kind of say to them, like, well, evidence says you don't need one. So I think it's important that we honor and support our clients and don't throw them off with our own thoughts and ideas of what the last client did, and things like that. I think I covered all my things that I wanted to chat about. Leading clients down a direction that may not. Yeah, I kind of touched on it briefly with the circumcision, but making sure that we have a full understanding of our clients' religious and cultural backgrounds and what they want to do, because that might be entirely different than what I did and what I typically provide to clients. So making sure I'm not pulling, for instance, if I had a client who was of Asian descent, and I automatically assume that they automatically know about the 40 days of really resting and taking care of their body, and I don't give them correct information on that, or I just automatically assume that they know everything about postpartum because that's a huge part of their culture. That can be one example of really making sure that I'm providing the information, and not just assuming, not being biased that they already know it. So yeah, that's one other thing I wanted to chat about. Alrighty, I think that's it.